Alright, so here's a quick tutorial on data validation in Google Sheets. So here I have some questions, and I want people to be able to select options to answer those questions. So in order to do that, I'm going to use the data validation feature. So for this first question, what is your favorite food? I want them to input their answer into this box to the right. So I'm going to right click on it, and then select data validation. Right? And then this tells me which cell I'm having the data validation in, which is the cell that I want, B7. Right? And then I'm going to choose list from range, and I'm going to select a range of data by clicking on that grid. And then over here in sheet 2, I have a list of foods. Now notice I added an other option down here at the end. Having that option in just allows them select other. It will not allow them to type in other some other food. So I click OK. That inputs that range. I'm going to leave it as a drop down in the cell and show a warning message. I'm not going to check the show validation help text because I don't think it needs it. So now I'm going to hit save. And if we come back over here to to sheet 1, there's the list of options in the order that I entered them in. If you want them to be alphabetized, you can do that. Just click back over to the sheet, select all of it. I like to leave the other at the bottom, and then I'm going to just sort the range from A to Z. And now it's been sorted. I don't have to change anything in the data validation because it's pulling it directly from those cells. So now they have been rearranged within the drop-down menu as well. The next option for data validation is to, instead of doing a list from a range, you can do a list of items. So here I've asked what is your favorite color. So now I can just type in colors red, orange, yellow, and then I'm just going to put other. Alright, so those are the only colors that they get to choose from. I'm going to show you what happens if you do check this show validation help. It says click and enter a value from the list of items. You can change this if you want to. I'm just going to leave it. And so now if someone mouses over, you see the help menu. I typically don't do it because if they type something in that's wrong for an answer, with or without the help, the warning message comes up and tells them input must fall within specified range. So it tells them what to do even if they don't. So let's see, we'll choose cheese and orange as our favorite color. Alright, data validation here. If I do how many students are in your room, or in your homeroom, I can select number, and maybe we want this number to be between 1 and 50. And then that way they won't be able to enter 0 or negative numbers, and they won't be able to enter anything above 50. So I'm going to check this box of reject input just so that we can see what that does. So if I save that and I go ahead, if I put in a number like 45, which falls within our range, there's no problem. However, if I put in a number like 54, that's outside, and it says there was a problem, the data you entered in cell B9 violates the data validation rules on this cell. Oh, so it won't let me put in an invalid data. So if I do 65, again, it says there's a problem. When you do this, you'll notice there's no drop-down menu and there's no help text. So for this one, because of the fact that it's not a drop-down menu, I typically do recommend, if you're going to reject the input or use the number feature, I would recommend that you put in the validation help text. Right? And then that way, when people mouse over, they can see what to do. Right? The next question that I have is, what is your email address? So again, go to data validation. And now we're going to select the text option. And we can say contains, does not contains, equals. But I'm going to use this one here that is a valid email address. You can see there's also an option for is a valid URL. Well, and then that's the only thing that I need. Again, I'm going to check the show validation help text. And so now it tells me I need to enter a valid email. So if I enter in my email address, it'll be fine. If I happen to forget the period, it'll tell me that it's not a valid email address and allow me to correct that. Okay, and then the last one that I'm going to show you is when is your birthday. So again, data validation, this time we're going to select date, and all I'm going to do is say that it has to be a valid date. You can have it be an exact date, before a certain date, on or before, after, on or after, between, not between, all sorts of different options. But for birthday, I just want them to enter a valid date. And again, I'm going to check, actually I'm not going to check the show help. I'll leave it this way. So go ahead and click save. And what's nice is when they click on this cell, and you type in a date, so 4137, that's fine, and it's there. You can also format the cell because of the fact that you're using a date. If you go up to format and do, I think it's number, and just click that you want this cell to be a date, now when you click on it, you can get a drop-down calendar, which is kind of a nice feature. Alright. Also, if I'm going to be sending this out to people and I want them to be able to edit just these cells here, I probably want to make it identifiable that those are the cells to edit, so I'm going to go ahead and highlight them. But I don't want them to be doing anything with these. So what I want to do is make sure that this is a protected data range. So I'm going to go to, I believe it's data, protected sheets and ranges, and notice I have the range that I want highlighted, so it automatically pops up. And then I'm going to just click on set permissions, and I'm going to restrict who can edit this range and just set it to only you, so that I'm the only one who can change it. I could make it custom and add other people if I wanted to, but since I'm the only one that needs to be editing it, I'm going to leave it as me. So then click done, and now no one else can edit those questions. They can edit anything else because I haven't restricted anything else. Now, if you delete stuff from a data validation, so I highlight all of these and I hit delete, you'll notice the drop-down is still here. So these are still data validation cells. So the data validation doesn't get deleted unless you right-click, click on data validation, and select remove validation. All right. Hope this is